This is News with the Disney Dude. Please like this video, subscribe to my channel for more content, and please hit the notifications bell so you never miss the latest Disney Parks news from around the Walt Disney World Resort. Here now is the news for Wednesday, April 8th of 2026. And we begin with a little bit of a late-breaking story here. No more annual pass holder reservations are available for May the 4th at Disney's Hollywood Studios. This happens every year for Star Wars Day. So if you didn't get your annual reservations for Hollywood Studios, you could always go to another park first and then try to park hop to Hollywood Studios. Just be advised that Hollywood Studios may be at capacity. You just never know. You never know. So you can, always park hop from, another park, from Magic Kingdom, Epcot, or Disney's Animal Kingdom. And you can always try to get into Disney's Hollywood Studios. But just keep in mind that you may or may not be able to get in. May the 4th is a very big day for obviously for Star Wars, but it's a very, very big day for Disney's Hollywood Studios. So just keep that in mind. You may or may not get in. It just depends. World of Disney Marquee has finally been completed at Disney Springs. So this refurbishment has now been completed. The World of Disney Marquee looks great. It looks really good. It looks nice and refreshed. Like I said, I keep touching on this, during this show this time of year. But Disney tries to refurbish all of their outside signs and such right before hurricane season. So, we're just, months, not even 2 months away from hurricane season. So they want to get everything. They want to get all of the outside posters and the boards and, the billboards and anything that hangs outside, anything that's outside. They want to keep that, looking fresh and up, and up to date. Again, because we are getting into our rainy season and our hurricane season. So this time of year, Disney tries to, keep their outside stuff looking fresh and up to date. Here's something that was surprising. I did post this on my Facebook page. But Big Thunder, we're going to start with the obvious one. Big Thunder Mountain reopening date has been revealed. It is reopening on May 3rd. And, of course, I will be there to bring you that POV footage from the ride. It was actually very surprising because they actually lowered the height requirement for the ride. It used to be you had to be 40 inches or taller to ride the ride. They have now bumped that down to 38 inches. So it's only 2 inches shorter, but it's very interesting. Very interesting that Disney would change that, especially for a roller coaster. As far as we know, Rock and Roller Coasters height requirement is staying the same. So that's interesting. That's very, very interesting that Disney would change this height requirement. Maybe Big Thunder Mountain Railroad's not going to be, I mean, I kind of hate to say it. Maybe it's not going to be as jerky as the previous one, which would kind of make me sad because it's supposed to be the wildest ride in the wilderness. So it would make sense if the ride's a little rocky or shaky. But I don't know, Rob. Well, we'll find out on May 3rd when I go. We'll find out when I ride the ride and film it. I'm going to have to report on that because Disney usually does not do that. Disney does not usually change their height requirement for a roller coaster. So when I'm at the park, I'm going to find out. I'm going to ask a cast member. Maybe they would know. It's a long shot. They probably wouldn't know. But again, that's very interesting. Very, very interesting that a roller coaster would change its height requirement. Scaffolding and scrim has been removed from Millennium Falcon Smuggler's Run at Disney's Hollywood Studios. So we assume that this was some kind of a refurbishment, or whatever. So whatever refurbishment had to be done, it is done now, and all the scaffolding and everything is now down from Millennium Falcon Smuggler's Run, which is great, just in time for the busy May the 4th day. All right, here's another odd story. Crews were working to remove lime green from the water from the Cinderella Castle moat. We checked with we checked with a cast member. Apparently, it was from a spilled tracer dye, which is used for testing leaks in pipes and storm drain systems. The cast members didn't know how it happened. So that's very, very, very weird, very strange. Like I said, I'm blocked out right now, so I can't go right now, but I did see the pictures of this online. Again, we don't know what happened or how it happened or what, but that's crazy. That is crazy. But as far as I know, it's been cleaned up, and whatever happened has been cleaned up, which is great, because nobody wants to walk, up to Cinderella Castle and the water is green. Okay, no one wants to see that. So, I'm glad that they took care of that. Imagineering files construction permits for former Star Wars Galactic Star Cruiser building at Disney's Hollywood Studios. So we are going to assume that the Galactic Star Cruiser is being used we already know that it's being used by Walt Disney Imagineering for future expansion projects. We assume that the Galactic Star Cruiser offices are only for what's happening at Disney's Hollywood Studios, the Monsters Inc. themed area, and the animation, the new animation experience coming as well. We really don't know. It could be for everything that's happening at Walt Disney World right now. But I mean, you know, maybe they're going to use it for all of the construction projects. Maybe it's just for Disney's Hollywood Studios. We don't know. I have no idea. So, but we're just going to have to wait and see. If we're all making guesses on when all of this is going to be completed. So if we had to take a guess, and this is just a guess, we have no idea, okay? But we would take a guess that Indiana Jones and the Tropical Americas would be sometime next year, would be 2027, okay? And then 2028 would be the Monsters, Inc. Themed land at Disney's Hollywood Studios. And then maybe 2030, or, maybe further than that, would be the Cars themed area at the Magic Kingdom, and the Villains expansion also at the Magic Kingdom. That's what we're thinking. We don't know. They've already told us that, Animal Kingdom is kind of excluded because Disney has already told us that the Tropical Americas land will be opening in 2027, will be opening next year. So we know that already. Monsters, Inc., we would assume would be the year after that in 2028. And then sometime down the road, 2030 or later than that, would be Cars and Villains. So, but again, that's for for Disney to know and then to tell us at a later date. Disney's Pop Century Resort Kiddie Pool is closing for refurbishment. Monday, April 13th. It will be closed until late April. They have not given us a reopening date for this. So, late April. That's all we can tell you is late April. And then speaking of Monsters, Inc., the Monsters, Inc. Land, Monsters, Inc. door coaster installation has begun at Disney's Hollywood Studios. So you may remember on Monday's show I said that work could begin any time now, and it actually has. It actually has started because this is the only thing that's being built from scratch. They're building the door coaster from scratch. Okay, that's the expansion part of Hollywood Studios, is the door coaster. Okay, they're reusing Mama Melrose as they're turning that into Harryhausen's, and then they still refuse to tell us what's replacing Muppet Vision 3D. They still refuse to tell us what's going in that building, in that theater. So, but we know that the Monsters, Inc. door coaster is in the back of the land, followed by and then Mama Melrose's will be transformed into Harryhausen's. We don't know what's going to happen with what was Pizza Rizzo. We don't know. We are going to assume it's going to be just like a quick service restaurant of it, because the infrastructure is already there. It was already a restaurant. So we assume it's going to be another quick service location. We just don't know what that is yet. And we don't know if, and Harry, this would be interesting. This would be interesting because obviously, as everybody knows, Harryhausen's in Monsters, Inc. serves sushi. So it would be very interesting. I think it would be very interesting and odd and wacky and weird to serve sushi at, you know, at, you know, at, you know, at, you know, in a theme park. But, you know, but it could happen. And then maybe you know, if they are using the other restaurant, if they are using what was Pizza Rizzo, maybe they're just going to make that like a hamburger, chicken nugget, pizza place, okay? Because obviously not everyone loves sushi, okay? So, you know, and I don't love sushi, but I have to go in the restaurant and film it anyway. I'm not going to do a food review for Harryhausen's if it is sushi, because that's just not my thing. I don't enjoy sushi. So, but it's going to be interesting. It will be very interesting to see what kind of food they serve at Harryhausen's, which in my guess would be sushi, but you know, and then the other restaurant, maybe they would make that like, you know, again, like a quick service, like, you know, hamburgers, hot dogs, chicken nuggets, area for everybody to enjoy. So, we'll just have to wait and see. But that would be my guess, but I don't know. I really have no idea. But again, you know, that's what we know. And then of course, you know, they still refuse to tell us what's replacing Muppet Vision 3D. Somebody actually brought up a point. They actually asked me the other day. They said, well, do you think Disney would just leave that theater empty and just have it as a facade? And I was like, I don't know. I don't think that would happen. I don't really see Disney, because again, the infrastructure is there for a show, whether that be a 3D show or a live action show, but the infrastructure is there. So, you know, it would make sense for them to put in a show in that space and just leave and not leave it blank. I think that would be pretty dumb of them to do, and just have a facade of the Glob Theater. We know that's what the theater is going to be called. We just don't know what's going in the theater. But I have a hard time believing that Disney would just leave the theater empty. I find that hard to believe. They have to be putting something in that space. They have to be putting something in that space. Okay? But what it is, we don't know. But I find it very hard to believe that you know, they would, you know, rip out Muppet Vision 3D and not replace it with anything. I think that would be kind of odd, and that'd be really, really stupid. Really, really dumb. So, again, we'll just have to wait and see, but I would find that very, I would find that really dumb if Disney did something like that. I think that would be really stupid for Disney to just leave it abandoned, okay? I mean, it wouldn't be the first time they've done that. Stitch's Great Escape, I'm looking at you. Every time I walk past that building, I'm like, geez, you know, that's where, you know, Stitch's Great Escape used to be, or Alien Encounter, if you will. Now that theater just sits there empty. But, you know, I would find it hard to believe that they wouldn't use it for something. What that something is, nobody knows. Disney's Pop Century Resort. Oh, wait a minute. Sorry. I'm reading you the story that I've already read. I'm sorry. Let's try this again. Disney prepares to paint Rock and Roller Coaster guitar for Muppets Makeover. They have sanded the guitar when it was Rock and Roller Coaster starring Aerosmith. they have completely sanded that, so now they can start that psychedelic paint makeover now. So very excited to see that. Very excited. That's, as much as I, really despise Disney for taking away Muppet Vision 3D, I'm still excited for Muppets Rock and Roller Coaster. Would it have been my first decision? No. No. I don't think that wouldn't have been my first decision. Okay? If you wanted to replace Aerosmith, replace it with something that makes sense, but Muppets, nah, I don't know. Jury's still out on that one. I don't know. But, that wouldn't have been my first choice to do. But, I'm still excited. I'm still, as long as the quality is there, then I'm happy. And if you have nods to the original attraction, that's another great thing. So as long as, for me, if you're doing, if you're building a new ride or you're overlaying an existing ride, it has to be of the same quality. B, it has to have a great story. And 3, and C, if it is a dark ride, which this isn't, but if it's a dark ride, it has to have a great original song. Now, Muppets, Rock and Roller Coaster, that may have an original song or songs, I don't know, but we'll have to see, but I don't know, but those are my three things. Those are my three things on a wish list for a new attraction. Big Thunder Mountain Railroad steam effect has been activated ahead of reopening. They're probably still testing this, but again, the ride will reopen in less than a month now. So they're probably just testing it and making sure that it works. But I'm really, again, this is another one of those where I'm really excited. I'm excited to see what they've done. They've put in all new track. They're updating effects. They're updating, we're getting a new opening scene. It's going to be great. It's really good. I'm excited for this. I'm really, really excited to see what this Big Thunder Mountain Railroad update is. I'm really, really excited. April Good to Go days for Walt Disney annual pass holders have been announced. They are April 14th and 15th, the 20th, 21st, 22nd, and 23rd. So on those dates, you will not need a park reservation. You can go to any of the 4 Walt Disney World theme parks and go in and enjoy the day. Now, look, I've been down the rant already of the reservation system. I think it's stupid. I think it's dumb at this point, but again, I'm not Disney. I'm not a number cruncher at Disney. Okay. I don't see the numbers of guests visiting the theme parks every day. Okay. And to be honest with you, the theme parks are not as crowded as they used to be pre-COVID. Now, look, there are certain exceptions to that. Okay. Any holiday or, spring breaks or, fall breaks or winter breaks, stuff like that. But most of the time, if it's not a big holiday or, time off of school, most of the time, the crowds are very controlled. They're very controlled. So I actually hand it to Disney. Because they're, they are controlling the crowds at the theme park. So I think that again, I think that was a smart decision, but again, on the other hand, I think that the reservation system is just kind of not needed at this point, but I don't know. I mean, I don't have the answer. I'm not a number cruncher, so I don't know, how many guests, how many regular guests you're letting in, how many annual pass holders you're letting in. I don't know. I don't know that. But you have to let me know how you feel. But I think the reservation system at this point is kind of dumb. Just kind of dumb. But if it is used to control crowds, then that's great. If not, then you need to get rid of it because it's just dumb at this point. Buzz Lightyear's Space Ranger Spin has now officially reopened after a multi-month closure. I will be going on Friday. I will be filming the ride, so look for that. Look for that on my Disney Ride channel. It will not be on this channel. This is a news channel. It will be on my Disney Ride channel. I'm looking forward to this. Buzz Lightyear's Space Ranger Spin, not everyone's favorite ride at the Magic Kingdom. And they decided to take it among themselves to say, you know what? That ride is outdated. That ride is outdated, and we can do better. We can do better. So I'm excited. I am really, really excited for this update. Expedition Everest at Disney's Animal Kingdom debuts new safety video. Expedition Everest is not my thing. I don't like that roller coaster. I know I'm going to get heat for that, but it's not my favorite roller coaster. So, but for any of you that do go and enjoy Expedition Everest, you now have a new safety video. And our last story is Disney's Lake Buena Vista Golf Course will be closing for a major refurbishment. This will be closed from late spring to early fall. We do not have any dates for this. So, one would assume that late spring would be late April, later this month, and early fall would be, probably in October. But again, we don't know. Disney didn't give us any dates, so we're just speculating at this point. So we don't know. But as soon as we know something, you'll know something. So, but there you are. There is your news for there is your news for this week. Again, if you like this video, please hit that like button. Please subscribe to this channel for more content. I thank you guys very much for watching this video. You guys enjoy the rest of your week and your weekend. I will see you right back here on Monday for Monday's show. At some point, I'm probably going to do an honest review for Buzz Lightyear's Space Ranger Spin. I know it's kind of odd because it's already a ride that exists, but since it's going to be updated, I want to see if this update is really any good or not. So I'm going to do an honest review for Buzz Lightyear Space Ranger Spin. When that is, I don't know. I have to find time for that. But that will be on this channel, on this news channel. So keep your eyes open for that. So, but until then, I will see you right back here on Monday for Monday's news show. Y'all keep each other safe and healthy. And remember that tomorrow is just a dream away.